Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another, what do we call them, episode? Hang on a minute.
Wait. Can you stop saying yet another? Like, this is not good. This is really, really not good. What's that on your head?
It's written on my script like that.
Yeah, okay. Well, we fired the script writer because we ran out of budget, right?
What is that?
Thank you. Why?
I am the Robin Hood of the North Pole.
The Robin Hood of the North Pole.
Mm. Have you not got a hat then?
I've got a hat. You mean like a Christmas hat?
Well, I guess so. I mean, have you got
ladies and gentlemen, this is the Christmas edition of
the English and Englishman Show. Yeah. All right.
Okay. Right.
So, where's your hat?
I've got a hat.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to fit.
It's all in the timing, is it?
I've got a big head.
Anyway.
So what are we talking about today?
Straight into that one, didn't I? So what are we going to talk about today?
What are we talking about today?
You know, I know it's Christmas time, and probably we'll probably say that this may be a couple of 3-4 weeks before we do another show.
Oh my goodness.
That's hard to imagine, isn't it? How are anybody going to take that?
Oh, they will be devastated. It'll be like all their Christmases have gone at once. I mean, really.
What I've realised now is that I haven't got my timer. It is on charge in the other room, so I'm actually going to keep an eye on the clock. It is now 1:35 p.m. in Perth, and we will finish at 1:55 on the dot.
Okay, all right. So you ready? You're going to play the music and all of that?
Well, it's already been on.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I'm just put on my hat.
It's a sock. Is it a Christmas stocking?
Listen, have you got something against socks?
Socks? No. Well, I have today actually in 40 degrees of heat. It would be a bit.
What 40 degrees? What's that in Fahrenheit? That's like 100 degrees.
Is it?
That's hot.
Sounds worse.
Okay, all right. I will put on my look. It's a sock hat. Do you know?
Yes, more like a kind of Christmas beret.
A Christmas beret.
Mm.
This sounds very. Anyway, let's get on with the show.
Yeah, it's fantastic for those who are listening, I must say. Anyway, so we're going to touch in upon some of this, the whole kind of way that people are starting to build community online. Are we going to talk about that sort of thing?
You know, that would be a very Christmassy sort of theme. You know, goodwill and all of that.
Peace to all men. I think. I don't know if it includes women.
Oh, it doesn't include women? I think it includes women. I think we can show goodwill to women and men and children, teenagers, boys and girls. Trolls?
Dogs, I said.
Dogs. What about trolls?
Trolls. Well, yeah. Well, we could try and, be kind to trolls.
Show them some goodwill, like block them,
Yeah.
Publicly humiliate them. So this whole theme of a network of people who are talking to each other, who are introducing people to each other, has been amazing.
Mm.
It's been extraordinary for me. I have been, here's how it works. I introduce you to somebody, and then the two of you start talking to each other and not necessarily doing business together. But what I've seen happening, and I've been doing this specifically with women lately, is that they are connecting with each other and egging each other on, cheering each other on, helping each other, and then even introducing people to each other.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think women are more likely to do that than men?
Oh, no. Yes.
Why?
I think women are better connectors and better promoters on the whole.
Yeah.
I think they are just more aware of how to cheer each other on, how to encourage each other, how to look for opportunities, how to maybe not necessarily even looking for opportunities, but they are so keen to to help. I think women on the whole are better at that. Am I allowed to say that?
I can understand how it works because, I mean, let's be realistic. You know, when you first meet somebody in any context, you know, they're not going to become your customer. You know, 999 times out of 1,000 anyway.
Well, that's the other thing that I've noticed is that there are a lot of people, I mean, I'm talking specifically on LinkedIn, but it would apply in other contexts. You know, the idea of, say, 6 or 7 touch points before people buy.
Yeah.
So we connect. I see one of your posts, for example, or a comment on it, or we actually meet at a networking event or something like that. I may not necessarily buy from you, but then at the same time, it may not happen after like 30 touch points.
Yeah.
You know, it might happen after 6 or 7. And so what I'm seeing now is an influx of new people coming into our world. And whether that's on social media or somewhere else, they're coming in and they're saying like, I'm lost. I don't even know how to begin. I don't even know what you're talking about using this language. I don't even know where it is. I don't know where I stand. And so that has been really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Because we've got some people welcoming them in, and that could even be us.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So do you think that, I mean, it works in an offline context as well, doesn't it? So the whole, I mean, I've got a good more than 2 friends of mine here in Perth who I've never
Wait. More than 2 friends of yours in Perth?
Yeah, but you know, half of my friends in Perth who I've never done business with directly.
Yeah.
But we've both referred people to one another. And if anything, to be fair, that's been far more fruitful than us ever doing business, you know, which is one or 2 transactions. Instead, it's turned into probably 6 or so each so far. So
right, because you have. Do you mind if I take my sock off?
Yeah, I'm going to have to join you in a bit.
You're going to take my sock off too?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right, mate, fair enough. Carry on.
Okay. So that's really, because you just so lower the risk when you introduce somebody and they have seen a connection that, well, maybe this is what happens with me. I have seen a connection between some graphic designer in New York and some community creator or facilitator or in a country area in Australia, and I've been able to join them to connect with each other, whether they or not they have a call. They're cheering each other on. It's just wonderful to see, and I can see why I've connected them, and they may not necessarily see it.
But does this then get harder to manage the bigger your network gets? Because let's be realistic. I mean, I wrote an article 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. So what if LinkedIn restricted us to 150 connections, right?
Mm-hmm.
People can follow you outside of that, but 150 becomes your maximum connection.
Wait, I want to know. Do I make the cut?
Well, I guess, 148-ish, I should think.
Thanks, Darrel.
Thanks, no worries, my friend.
Darrel, I just wanted to say something.
You'd be the first one, mate. You'd be the first one.
I just want to say Merry Christmas.
Yeah, okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
You see what's happened here?
That's marketing.
What do you mean it's marketing?
You say Merry Christmas.
Nothing to do with marketing. I was actually wishing you a Merry Christmas.
Trying to sell something.
I'm not trying to sell you anything. Except, aren't you impressed that my sock has grown so quickly?
Yes, it's an impressive sock.
Thank you. Go on. So 150 connections, and you
Yeah.
said that I made the cut. I was in at 148.
But my point is this, is that if it's Dunbar's number, he says that we can't possibly maintain more than 150 relationships, full stop.
Uh-huh.
So if we had a smaller network, I'm not talking about people can still follow us outside of that and follow our expertise and all that kind of stuff and still engage with our content. But I'm saying if you actually had a network of 150 people that you actually knew beyond connecting, that you actually had fairly, I mean, even with 150 people, it would be hard to have a conversation more than once a quarter probably. But if that was a consistent, if you had a spreadsheet, for example, with all of those 150 people on and you made sure that you engaged with them at least once a quarter, then it'd be far easier to do what you are talking about there than a big, because let's be realistic, that probably is something that you're doing with people that you've either been engaging with quite a lot,
yep,
or engaging with recently. And we're not talking about people that you might have connected with 2 years ago that have fallen into the ether.
Yeah, look, it's really easy for people to slip through the cracks, and I think you're onto something here. So it's not. Look, I get it. I get that. These are the ones we are actively engaging with, to use the word. If we're actually actively contacting and sharing information with, and suggesting things, introducing them to people, sending them articles, whatever. But at the same time, there are masses and masses and masses of people who are lurking, who are following, who are never actually connecting to us until one day they've seen our stuff, they've heard of us, and then one day, totally out of the blue, they send a message that says something like, "Why?" or something.
Say what?
Hi. Says hi.
Yes. Oh, yeah, exactly. But then that's an opportunity to have conversation, isn't it? That's the whole point. The whole point. And it may be an opportunity for you to say, okay, who could I introduce you to? Who, it may not be a business context in that immediate thing, but
not at all. And that's something that's been really playing on my mind lately as well, is how you can help people in ways that are very transparently not selling to them.
Yeah.
And I mean, a simple one was you wrote your article on burnout 2 or 3 months ago, and so
yeah,
I saw somebody who actually specializes in helping people with burnout. I sent her this article.
Oh yes, I know the lady. Yeah.
Yep. And another one was, well, for the lurkers on LinkedIn. Okay, so we'll talk about that in particular. I wrote an article, the 24 ways that you can say thank you on LinkedIn without writing a post or writing an article. Because a lot of people are just so intimidated about writing their first post. They're quite scared.
That's good.
Yeah. So giving them those tips just gave an opportunity for people to start, sharing.
I think that's good. But I also think there is an opportunity missed here for LinkedIn, and they may or may not do this in the future. The opportunity, I know it might sound a bit mercenary, but I think there's a good point to it for you to be able to perhaps categorize your connections into A-listers, for example. I would really like to be able to go through my connections and say, okay, this is my 150 that I want to be my priority feed. I mean, that might not be what I want, but I would like to be able to, be able to put 150. I might have to just do it in a simple spreadsheet. Go through my, God, that's going to take years to go through it all.
You know why? That's because you that's just elitist. You are just an elitist. You just want to have your own little private enclave of Darrel fans who are just standing there worshiping you, listen to all of your advice about add value and don't pitch and all of that, and then that's all you're after.
No, but I mean, I think from a business perspective, I think that if I had 150 people on a spreadsheet who I could then schedule to contact once a quarter just to touch base, rather than them joining all the others where I lose touch. I think there's something to be said for that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not talking about funnels here. I'm talking about, or maybe I am in a kind of way, but based on what I said before, that, you know, some of those people are going to be the doorway to your next client, right? So, and vice versa.
Yeah, and you know, that's an angle that I think is really helpful as well, is what we might call the eager sneezers. Okay, the people who are going to their so someone shared with me a video the other day, a TED talk of how to start a movement, and there's a guy, there's some random guy at a festival or somewhere dancing on his own.
Oh yeah,
and before he even, like within a few seconds of him starting the dance, there's a follower. Before no sooner is the follower in, the leader suddenly encourages the follower and lets the follower become effectively the equal. Yeah, it was really fascinating. And then, of course, a couple of others are brave and so on.
I know the thing you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason that I mentioned that is not for you and me to get up and do a dance, because I don't think that's going to. I don't think that's going to fly. Sorry.
Let's find out.
No.
I'm going to mute. I have to put some music on, and you know.
Yeah, it's just and you're just too cool. Everybody knows that. Okay.
Well, that's it. You know, I don't want to cause any, you know, stampede of horses.
But here's the thing: is that when we're encouraging others to be promoters of each other, then that just makes it a whole lot better. Hey, come into this store. I'm not telling you anything. I bought something, or I know somebody else has bought something. You come in, it sounds like your kind of store. Like, that's so much more powerful because you're more detached, you're more disinterested, right? You're not just writing your own testimonials.
Isn't it just a more slightly more tactile pod?
A what? What's a tactile pod?
Well, you know, the whole pod idea is
what's the pod again?
Okay, so you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours every time.
Oh, okay, so we're joined together. A pod is where, you know, a group of us join together. Hey, Darrell, you've just written a post. Everybody, let's promote it. Let's all comment on it.
Yeah.
And then I wrote a post in the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know
which
what
I hate?
Stands for?
But is this not just a kind of an?
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it's I expect you to comment on my. It's simply, here is why it makes sense for you two to be connected.
Yeah.
Let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
And some of them will actually jump on a call together. Some won't. But it's a way of saying, hey, I see some connection between the two of you that maybe you don't see.
Now the cynic, and it's not me, but the cynic might argue that,
you are the most cynical man in the world. You were the man who said last time we met that when I cried on international social media and the world wept with me, there was one man with one hard heart who did not shed a tear. Who was that man? Darrell Griffin. You were the cynic who said, well, this is going to be good for business, isn't it?
Well, yes. You know, I know full well who I'm dealing with here. I know all the little tricks and.
You're going to make me cry, and then that will be good for the E&E show. That'll be wonderful.
Always trying your little angles. At least I'm a little bit more out there with it.
A bit more, I'm subtle, am I?
Yes. But so. Okay, so it's not like and I agree that it's not like a pod, but at the same time, so the cynical businessman woman would say, okay, I don't have time all day long to chit chat and connect Sally to Alison and watch the magic happen and all this kind of stuff. You know, I've got a business to run. I've got, you know, you know. How realistic is it to, you know?
Well, think of the time commitment here. I mean, all I'm really doing is I'm saying, hey, I've got Amanda over here is going to be connecting to Maria over there in New York.
Yeah.
And hey, it might be worth your while meeting up because I noticed that you are both working with the same kind of client, but doing different things.
Yeah. No,
What's wrong with that?
it's fair enough. No, there's nothing wrong with it. I just think it needs to be thought out strategically. And I know you don't like that word the way that I like it. I just think
Don't I like strategically?
I don't know if you know. All I'm thinking is that if it can be built into part of the way that, you know,
right,
the way that you do LinkedIn, for example. I bet it's, you know, it comes into the whole mindset. You know, you can't, it comes back again to the person that you are in your core. You can't, it's not something you can manufacture as a, you know.
Yeah, no, and so it's not a tactic. You're not sitting down working out how are we going to, like, okay, you might do it, you might map out your process, but ultimately you're connecting people because it's going to be worthwhile for them.
Yeah,
that itself is going to have a spin-off for you, but you're seeing that in both contexts this is going to be good. He needs this and she is offering this.
Yeah, which goes back to why I'd say, well, you know, when we've got a huge sprawling network, it's very difficult to manage.
It is very difficult to manage, and so smaller numbers are easier to manage. I mean, what can I say?
Yeah, time is up, my friend, and a fascinating subject. And we could have unpacked that some more. I think we should really put on, for the sake of the anchor listeners, we need to put our hats back on.
Did you put our hats back on?
Yeah.
It's shrunk.
You've gone sock. I've gone sleepy. Whatever.
Merry Christmas, Darrel.
Merry Christmas for a friend. I am very grateful for your friendship. I wish you and your family a most happy Christmas. No doubt I'll speak to you privately before that. But in terms of the show, it's been a fascinating few months so far, and look forward to kicking it on in the new year.
Well, what's this?
For the listeners, it's me.
It's not exactly the Christmas spirit, my friend.
You know, it's sort of
the old one too. You look like you're ready for boxing.
Strategic. Goodbye, my friend.
See you. Happy Christmas.
And to you.